Hello and welcome to Clay to Canopy, the show where I attempt to make just about everything from the ground up. And welcome to week 4 of my Don't Wake the Dragon series. Now, last week I left off with cutting up all of the pieces for the main body of the dragon. This is going to be the first of my lighter weeks because I am going back to campus, so I will only have 3 dedicated days to the studio each week. Tasking is going to be a little bit lighter. I'm not going to have this like giant blocks of time to get things done. For today, my goal is to try and dry fit as much as I can of the body of this dragon. I will have to be making some brackets. It may take a couple days actually to sort this all out because I'm going to be going back and forth with my, where did it go? With the bevel gauge against the dragon model, trying to check those angles, transferring that onto a piece of 1/2-inch plywood, and then making brackets that I can screw together to get a little bit more stability in with the stitching of the zip ties. We're in another heat wave week. Today is August 11th? August 12th. Today is Friday, August 12th. Because this week is going to be a heat wave, in addition to it being a shorter week, I'm only going to have a few hours to work. I'm just going to get to it and then touch base with what happens at the end of this day. So unfortunately, I am also fighting with the mangledness of this model because it just keeps getting shifted around and around. So some of this is like not in the adequate position. I'm going to have to like hold it down while I try to sort out what the next angle is. So that is 31 B and A. I'm going to join those two together. I'm going to label these now because I'm going to just make a bunch of brackets and then figure out where they go. That way I'm on the machine only at one point. So I brought some pieces out here just so I could spread out a bit, and I noticed this massive air pocket inside this piece of plywood, which is a problem because this is on the inside. This is what happens. I think this is from the heat and also from buying cheaper plywood. I got to figure out a way to fill this, and I want to try and, damn mosquitoes, retain the top layer here so that I can put it back on. You never really want to do this. This is bad. But I don't have much a choice since this is assembled. Oh, it's like a whole freaking pocket void of no wood in there. Damn. Alright, I'm gonna make some filler, get it in here. Hopefully that is the only spot. Now I gotta go around tapping everywhere and make sure that I don't have any big holes. I would have noticed the others, I would think, though. I think this only cropped up because of the heat, but I think, you know, drilling here and there, something else, it should have popped up. Should have, but this one didn't, right? So, alright, make some filler. Yeah, I'm going to hit it with a bit of tape to hold it down. Apparently, duct tape is like overpriced packing tape. I bought it, I'm going to use it, but when I run out, I will be having no problems working with just regular packing tape. I'm going to just smack some tape over this. So the beauty of using epoxy is it is a chemical reaction. I do not need to worry about me sealing the moisture in and it not drying because, you know, yellow glue needs air to dry. This stuff is a chemical cure, so even though I am encasing it in this tape, it will still harden and cure. Alright. Let's hope that works. So I just ran my hand over all of the surface of the rest of it. I didn't notice any divots or any holes. I'm really shocked that I didn't catch that sooner. The only thing I think of is the heat released, you know, that pocket, and somehow it was just crinkled and became more prominent. I gave a good pressing all around the top of the surface. Seems like it's okay. I think that the fix will be fine. The only thing that bums me out is that it's on the inside because it's where like the foot is going to be, so there'll be like an extra cavity on the inside, and I was trying to keep that top surface natural. Hopefully it won't show up too badly, but you know, it is what it is. There's already going to be patches of screw holes going on the top surface that are probably going to come through. They're going to be there as the maker's mark. I'm choosing to leave that. I really want to keep as much of that inside natural to reflect off of the circles that are going to be natural too. That might change. Maybe I'm going to get in there afterwards, and I'm going to be looking at it and going, no, this is getting painted. I don't know yet. We'll figure it out as that goes on. Alright, I'm going to start with doing up these brackets, and I will need to make 2 of each size. And this time I am not going to use the tuck tape to cover them like I did the first time. I'm going to just use the clear packing tape because they're labeled, and that way I can still see the label and the packing tape works. So, there we have it. If your glasses are fogging, it means that you have a safety air leak somewhere in your mask. Everybody's like, oh, try and sort out how to coat the safety glasses, but it's actually an indicator that your mask is not fully airtight. I only really need the outside to be nice and flat. The inside is not going to have anything up against it. So I'm just going to make, like, that can stay rough cut. But when I have this wonkiness happening in the top, that's going to go up against the thing. I've been sanding them. And I'm going to cut off this extra bit. Alright, now I can retrace that and make the second one. I made a pair of each one of the brackets, and I also went back and double checked them on the model before I made the second one. I'm going to go ahead and start taping them up. Even though this is a dry fit, at least the taping job will be done. They'll be in position where I can just go ahead and start spreading the epoxy. I have a feeling what's going to end up happening is I'm going to put together big sections of it, and then before I epoxy, I'm going to take apart sections and only do 2 panels at a time, attach those, let the epoxy dry, and then another group of 2s, you know, until I cull down to one larger piece. It just seems to be the thing that makes the most sense in my head. Whoa, big Spidey. Come on. Whoa, don't hang out inside. Let's go put you on a plant. Big Spidey. Always burnish your tape, people. I think I got enough of this together to feel confident with the ability to flex things into place. There's a lot of give here, so I think what I could do is join 2, 2, 2, and then where these things like come together here, when it comes to start joining those up, I think I'll have plenty of room to mess with in the flexing to fit it together, even if it's not 100% perfect. At this point, what I'm going to do is take this apart in sections so that I can begin glassing in these small sections. I did want to get this whole thing dry fitted, but these panels are so thin and fragile, and I'm already have broken a couple tips. I don't want to risk these panels getting any more damaged. I think that dry fitting in such a large scale with nothing secured is going to be a bit much. I think I'd be better off just continuing on this route of small sections at a time and building up from there. So, yeah, change of plans. No longer dry fitting the entire thing. I'm going to move on to joining some small sections, continuing to increase and add more pieces until we get a body here. I just yanked off the tape. I'm going to let it air dry before I hit it with the sander. I think I might do an overnight, let it completely cure overnight before I even bother touching the sander. Now that I've gotten epoxy all over my hands, cleaning it up with some rubbing alcohol, I have worked on, basically I was doing this foot section. Now I think the only thing I have left that I can work on at the moment is over here in the next section, because I'm waiting for sections of this to cure before I can attach the two. So I'm going to move over to that section. I'm going to try and get some of the neck brackets done, and we'll connect this section where the back comes into the neck. I really don't want to sand right now. It's almost noon and I've only got about a good hour before it's just I've got to go inside. I don't want to like get into sanding that seam line. I don't know. Let's see how it goes. These two back pieces, when I put them together, I really didn't know what the heck I was doing, and I gooped on the epoxy way too thick. And this time I was smart enough to take a popsicle stick and smooth it all out. Unfortunately, I did not do that for these main panels, so before I can join them together and run the seam line of tape, I think I gotta sand down the sections that are too high. And I just don't know if I want to do that right now in this heat. On the other hand, if I'm trying to get early morning starts, I don't really want to do that at 7 o'clock in the morning tomorrow morning either. Anyhow, where am I? Where am I? Besides sweating like crazy. Just taking a quick lunch break, and I have the two panels from the first two panels that I have joined, and I think it's time for me to go ahead and run the one solid strip of a seam line. So I'm going to be popping off the brackets and any of the zip ties that I might have installed, and that way I can have a clean shot to run the one bead. Trying to determine if it's necessary for me to sand. I think I'm alright. So of course I was trying to skip a step by not sanding, and it didn't go that well, so I am going to have to sand before I put the final layering in. It's just the way it's gonna have to be. So that one I can't touch, it's already setting up, but the inside of this one I'm definitely gonna hit it with the sander just to get the top parts down before I go ahead and put in a clean bit. And I was trying to figure out whether or not it was necessary to put in the thickener. So the last grouping I did without the thickener, and the thickener actually helps really fill in the glass, and it makes it so that you can just go with one big coat rather than having to apply extra. It seems like the other one's a bit thinner. That's where I am. I'm trying to decide if I should fill the seams first on the outside. Nah, the inside bit's been working. So I'm gonna take this over there away from this because I don't really want to move this at the moment, and hit this with the palm sander. I think I actually like that application. The thinner set with using the roller, I think that went well. So I'm going to call it for today. I will get out here to try and do some sanding and whatnot tomorrow, and continuing to add more panels. Good morning. It is Saturday. That means that it is video release day. I have released the assembly of the trailer bits and then the Canopy, the whole setup deal. I'm about a month ahead of working to where I'm releasing. I was actually transferring video yesterday and realized that week 2, since I had the entire week off, there's a lot of footage. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be breaking that up into 2. I fortunately was enough, I'm not awake. I need my coffee. I cleaned up my yogurt containers. Once the resin hardens, you can easily pop off the bits and then I can have another go. Already reusing this plastic, and I'm gonna try and reuse it several more times. I didn't want to buy a bunch of plastic mixing cups for this purpose. I would have if I needed them. We have so much plastic in like life, and anytime I can reuse things, it's great. So thankfully I have all of these yogurt containers that I was going to take to campus because my high school kids use them for their glazing. They probably still will be able to do that as long as I can continue to crack out the epoxy once it dries. Today is pretty much going to be the same deal. I think that the rest of this week is going to carry on the same way, where I'm making brackets, getting the part assembled. I don't know if there's much talking to do unless some really major issue kind of arises as I'm going along. Here come my birds. I'm really happy with the way that this seam line went on. Can't decide if I want to start joining like these sets of parts or if I should continue on the method I was going with, just doing 2 sets at a time, 2 or 3 sets at a time. The last couple I did yesterday did not cure on time for me to do the final strip, so I think that's what I'll start with this morning. It is still before 8 o'clock, I think. I don't know. Could be after 8. I have no idea. But it's Saturday and I don't want to start cutting on the wood machine until I've had at least my second cup of coffee. And so what I will do is give a quick sand to those little joints there and then get the next strips in. That way I can move on to some other, I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm going to do those other 2 first. I got to sand up the seams, probably do those larger panels that I did the first time, week 2, and then I will sort out where the heck I'm going next. I need to tidy before I start. Ugh. It's really important that you do tidy, especially in a wood shop, because sawdust and crap on the floor can become really slippery, and you need to keep the floor clean so you don't go falling while you're dealing with power tools. Alright, some things I'm learning. Number 1, the silica really is important for filling in the fibers of the cloth. I prefer to use it while I'm doing the small strips of tape just to lock things in place. I think it helps cure it faster. It also keeps it all contained in that one area and prevents it from spreading all over. However, doing so thickens it up so much that I do need to hit it with the sander. The brackets are working. The zip ties are needed in certain areas and not on everyone. So right here, I had a good match. The 2 pieces were short enough that when I used these brackets, I could get the cloth in a good space and I didn't have much gapping. However, on this one, because of the way that I cut it, it was probably too wonky of a cut. I had some gapping in some areas and it was really necessary for me to throw those zip ties in just to pull it closer. Now the zip ties were always meant to be temporary to this point, and then what would happen is you take away your bracing, you snap out the zip ties, and then you do the full bead. So I try to use them as sparingly as possible, but I'm not going to be frugal about it either. If it needs to be there, it's going to be there to pull the pieces together. So that's basically what I've learned so far. Lastly, for the longer strips, I prefer to not mix the silica in. I think that getting a smoother, nicer hit by not mixing the silica in and using the roller. Yeah. Alright, I'm going to take these apart so that I can get them over there to sand. I'm going to hit this while I got the sander out. Well, it's not pretty, but it is what it is. Alright, I got all 4 panels that I sanded up glassed with the tape. I think I'm going to sort out what I want to do next. Probably going to try and see if there are any other sections I can match up and make brackets for. Yeah, that's the plan. So I'm going to go ahead and join this fourth piece onto this grouping. Fortunately, as I was hoping, some of the brackets may, be able to be used again. And this angle was so close to what this one needs to be that I'm going to go ahead and reuse this bracket. I've labeled them with bolt sets that they're connected to in case I ever need these again, if I have to rework a part or whatnot. So I had a feeling once I got a certain number that the brackets would start to become a little like not necessary. And this is one of those situations. This is stiffer, that's got brackets, and this other piece pretty much I can kind of get it in position without having to worry about those brackets. So I think since I got this one kind of situated, I'm gonna go ahead and prep this to be taped. Got this one bit. You know what? I'm gonna use the tucked tape here. That's what it's supposed to be for. Where is the tucked tape? If I can still continue to get by with not having to have as many brackets, this is gonna save a lot of time. I'm going to tell you how excited it is for me to start seeing pieces come together. This is mighty, mighty exciting. The tuck tape did leave a weird sticky residue over on the part that I patched. So I don't want to go too crazy with it, but I want to make sure I get enough to keep things in place. Alright y'all, so here's the deal. Those other pieces are dry, but not dry enough to where I feel comfortable hitting them with the sander. I also think that assembling any more singular pieces is not going to be the way to go. I need to do this, where I'm adding onto existing parts and building up from here with the pieces that I already have. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other pieces that are 2 sections that can now have singular pieces beginning to add onto those, but I cannot do that until the pieces that I have just joined are dry enough for me to take the sander and buff them out, which is not going to be today because it's like already 1 o'clock. I've been at it for about 5 hours now. I think that this is a good place to stop for today. Tomorrow morning I will go ahead and map out the next section, and I think this is just how it's going to end up going. I think I'm going to be going at this kind of a pace where I'm just joining pieces here and there until I start building up a larger section of this structure. But it's coming together. I'm really excited about it. I'm okay with this pace, particularly in this heat. So I'm going to do a bit of cleanup so that I can get it all situated for the night. I have been storing my 2-part sections inside the base. It is Sunday morning, and this is, I think, going to become one of those weeks where I'm just doing the same task over and over again for the entire week, maybe even 2 weeks, until I get to a finished point. I am just going to continue what I've been doing, adding on panels, sanding down bits, adding the strips in, waiting for things to dry, and so it goes. It's kind of just, I feel like, going to be that type of a process. The first thing I should do is probably go sand, which is like the last thing I want to do really early in the morning. But it has to be done before I can join the next set of panels. I really need to have some like coffee and something because I haven't had coffee yet, and it's already 9 o'clock. Yeah, moving real slow this Sunday morning. Alright. I blame research. I went to go see the electrical parade again last night so I could look at Elliot because I'm building a dragon, so why not? Research. Research. Research.
That's right.
It's my story and I'm sticking to it. Do not break the things, the pretty things. Not enough hands. Not long enough hands. I need to push on the screw while using the drill at the same time. There we go. There we go. Ah. I like what the tucked tape is doing on the other side, so I'm going to leave it until I get the full bead on the porcelain parts. If I told you how much in love with this process I am, I'm like, I really love love stitching glue suddenly. Like, this is just awesome. I can see so much potential for so many sculptures. Might become the stitch and glue channel. Put on these thick-ass socks because I was getting eaten alive by mosquitoes out here. And with the socks, I can't wear my sneakers, my Vans. I gotta go change because I cannot wear Crocs while I'm cutting wood. Just saying. Much better. By the way, have I told you about my shoes? Can you tell I'm excited about my shoes? I am such a dork. Yes, I am. Alright. Yeah, I'm listening to Celtic music right now to try and conjure my dragon. Sometimes I really wish I could share the music I listen to while I'm in here, but because I'd get dinged with a copyright, you know. Okay, where the heck are the pencils around here? Well, on the bright side, this 90 plus heat has made this stuff cure in the 15 minutes it took me to eat a sandwich. This one, I had one on one side and one on the other side, and I was worried it's gonna take forever for me to get to the one on the other side, but since it cured, I will be able to do this side now. Okay, it's not fully cured. My hand's a bit tacky. The main issue is that I get all gooped up and then I go to switch the pieces. I want to carry it over there without getting it all crappy, full of resin, because the resin's now on the gloves. And if I take the gloves off and have to replace the gloves, my hands are swollen and sweaty from inside the gloves and the next set of gloves don't fit. Troubleshooting in this hot heat. Let's see. It's getting to the point where it's just too hot for me to focus, so I need to get this job done and get back in the house. So much for I thought it was going to be a quick day today, and it turned out to be quite a long day today. Get to look at my bare feet because it's just too dang hot. Bits drying. Probably already cured. But yeah, this is what it's kind of been looking like. I had a bunch more stuff kind of all over yesterday. I have an idea. Start with the black gloves. Things we do for our passions. You know what? I don't think I'd want to be anywhere else right now. Even though it's like ridiculously hot, I'm sweating, that it's like a trial to work with this stuff in this heat. I still don't want to be anywhere else. I'm like still really happy and excited about this process. I think these pieces coming together are really cool. So there you have it. I'm gonna double glove. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. What would have been brilliant was if I had put the mask on and the headphones on. I'm masking because of this silica. Silica additive that I'm adding in is basically ground up fine bits of glass. Silica is used in ceramics to make the glazes become glossy because it is glass when heated at a certain temperature, and silicosis is a major thing for ceramicists from breathing in too much silica dust. The masking at this point is not as much for the vapors of the resin, it's to protect my breathing in the silica. Wow, see how many shirts I ruined during the making of this dragon. Oh, my shirt keeps sticking to the dang table. Here's my genius. Ha-ha! Woo! Worked like a charm. Yeehaw! Monday morning, Monday, August 15th. I'm gonna do a quick tidy since there's, of course, neighborhood noise. Today is going to be another day of the same tasking. I'm going to take the brackets off of these, hit them with the sander. I've got 6 pieces going. Give them a quick buzz with the sander. I have upped the sanding pad to 60, between 60 and 80 grit. I've actually been on the 60 grit now. You're not going to see the surface, and I don't really care if it scratches up the top, but it's saving a lot of time. I can buzz through it and be done with it. Just another layer to add to this 90-degree heat. I need a camera person. Dang it. Wow. Alright. Camera's probably wonky, but doing the best I can while I'm fighting with epoxy curing here. Small underside now. Still tacky, but gotta go. Tacky? Is it tacky? My wardrobe is tacky. Alright. That is going to be it for today. These are going to cure. I will move them back into the trailer. After this round dries up, I'm going to repeat this. Hopefully get out here Wednesday, stand up what I've done, and start attaching some of them to each other. Y'all, this boy is so dang cute that I don't want to start working right now. It's Wednesday, and I've come out here to do some sanding, but look at him. He's so happy, and I don't want to bother him. So I am quietly moving about, trying to figure out what I can do that doesn't bother him. Y'all, that's Sly, in case you didn't know. He is the yard cat. I am moving real slow today. Besides Sly slumbering over there on the side, I also am having a very slow start to the morning, and it's hot already, and I'm out here a little later than normal. I had an appointment earlier. I think I'm just gonna pick at doing a bit of cleanup on these pieces. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna get to sanding today. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the pieces of tape off, like the random bits, clean off the excess fiber, and then get it ready for sanding. Kind of feeling like I need a chill day. It has been like go, go, go for me, and with just the first week back to campus, yesterday was a very busy day, and I feel like I've been go, go, go out here, and then ran right into that, and I'm just kind of needing, I think I need a break day, and that might be today. I'm gonna let Sly decide if I'm gonna sand or not today. So if he moves, oh, he's leaving. Dang it. That means I have to work. Alright. Whoa, this tuck tape is stuck to the old stuff and is now going to need to be sanded off before I can put another layer on. Tisk tisk tuck tape. That's supposed to not stick to epoxy. Aha! The lies. The lies of the tuck tape. Overpriced tucked tape. Now it's really overpriced because it's not removing from the area that it's supposed to be removing from. Freaking A, freaking A. The other day, I started getting the fiberglass itch. I think I need to stay masked, number one, because if I'm getting bits of fiberglass on my hands, even just from this application, I'm gonna need to be masked because I don't want that crap in my lungs, number one. Number two, I think at a certain point I'm probably going to be better off out here with long sleeves. So I have to figure this out because I can't be out here for long periods of time in long sleeves with 90-degree weather. When I do the glue up, I feel like there is more fibers kind of flying around at that point. What I'm sanding off is the excess epoxy and not the fiberglass. So I think when I come to do the glue up, I want to do it first thing on Friday, early enough that it's at least cool enough for me to be in long sleeves. I'm definitely going to throw on a mask right now before I do any of this. There we go. Last moments of my hair being down probably for the rest of this vlog. And I'm going to throw the respirator on while I work because I should. Alright y'all, I know I have talked about my hand issues before, and I have been going to a massage therapist for my muscles because as I started lifting, between all of the physical work I do, my forearms and my biceps take a really big hit. Apparently the nerve pain that I've been having, which is like exacerbated by the eating gluten, I can't eat gluten, and processed sugars, makes my hand basically go on fire. But I also know that the sanding and this process I thought was like one of the heavy hitters, especially since this is my dominant arm. But today I found out that part of the issue may actually be in fact my neck and the position that I'm in while I'm sanding. I'm bringing this up because now that I'm aware of it, I'm supposed to be altering the way that I work. It's making this process go a little bit slower because I have to take more frequent breaks. I can't be working with my neck down like this because that's putting pressure on the nerve, which is what's making the hand bad. My point is, this is going to be slow going, and I am just going to finish out sanding as much as I can, but take a lot of breaks today. So I'm going to go ahead and call this vlog here. I'm not as far along this week as I was hoping I would be, but it is what it is. I do have a lot of pieces in the making. So yeah, please like, share, and subscribe if you have not done so already. Stick around to watch this she shed all come together, and remember, don't wake the dragon.